The sound of heavy chains echoed in the dark. A single dim light flickered above, showing the shape of a human lying on the cold metal floor. His name was Daniel, an ordinary man who had no idea how he had ended up here. The last thing he remembered was walking home one night and then blinding light. Now he was locked in a cage that did not look human-made. The bars glowed with strange blue energy, humming softly like they were alive. Daniel slowly sat up, holding his head. His heart raced when he realized he was not alone. Across from him, inside the same cage, stood two figures. Not humans, not anything he had ever seen before. One was tall and broad, covered in dark red scales with glowing yellow eyes and claws sharp enough to tear steel. The other was leaner, with silver skin that shimmered like liquid metal and long black hair that floated as if moved by invisible wind. Both looked dangerous, both looked ready to kill. For a long moment, no one moved. The two aliens stared at each other, their eyes burning with hatred. Daniel could feel the tension in the air. It was like being trapped between two wild beasts ready to fight to the death. The silence broke when the scaled warrior growled. His voice was deep, filled with rage. "You again," he said, glaring at the silver-skinned alien. "I should have killed you long ago." The silver one smirked, his voice calm but sharp like a blade. "Try, beast, and see who dies first." Then, without warning, they attacked each other. The cage shook as claws met silver fists. Sparks of energy shot across the glowing bars. Daniel stumbled back, covering his head as the two aliens clashed in front of him. The red-scaled warrior slammed his claw against the other's chest, sending him crashing into the bars. The silver alien screamed as blue energy surged into his body, but he pushed off the wall and struck back with a blast of light from his hands. The floor trembled. The cage groaned. It was like the whole place would collapse any second. Daniel pressed his back against the corner, terrified. These creatures were monsters, stronger than anything he had ever imagined. And yet, for some reason, he was locked in the same cage with them. He shouted, his voice cracking, "Stop! You'll kill us all!" But they didn't listen. The fight grew worse. Every strike sent shockwaves through the cage. The blue energy in the bars pulsed brighter and brighter, reacting to their rage. Then Daniel noticed something strange. Each time he screamed or moved, the energy also flickered. The cage wasn't just reacting to them, it was reacting to him too. His breath quickened. Could it be the cage was connected to him? Before he could think more, the red-scaled warrior grabbed the silver alien by the throat, slamming him into the ground. He raised his claw to strike the final blow. Daniel's fear exploded into a desperate cry. "Stop it!" The entire cage flashed with blinding light. Both aliens froze. The glowing bars shifted, and for a moment, Daniel saw a crack open, like a doorway leading out. The aliens turned their heads slowly, both staring at him now. Their eyes were no longer on each other. They were on the human. The silver alien rose to his knees, his voice filled with shock. "He controls the cage." The red-scaled warrior narrowed his eyes, his claws lowering. "No, the cage responds to him. The human is the key." Daniel's chest tightened. He had no idea what they meant, but he felt their attention pressing on him like heavy weight. For the first time, they were not fighting each other. They were looking at him with something far more dangerous: interest. A low, eerie whisper filled the air, echoing from the walls. It was not the voice of either alien. It was something else, cold, inhuman. "Choose. Who lives?" the whisper said. "The human must decide." Daniel froze. His blood ran cold. The alien's eyes widened, then slowly they both stepped closer to him. The silver alien bowed his head slightly, his voice soft but urgent. "Free me, human. Together we can escape." The red-scaled one growled, his tone fierce but almost respectful. "No. Free me, and I will protect you. The other will betray you." Daniel's heart pounded, his hands shook. He didn't understand what was happening. Why him? Why was he forced to choose? The whispers grew louder, almost chanting now. "Choose, choose, choose." Daniel backed away until his shoulders hit the glowing bars. His mind spun with fear and confusion. If he chose one, the other would surely try to kill him. If he chose neither, what would the whispers do? The aliens were now inches from him, their eyes burning with intensity. Both waiting, both desperate. Daniel swallowed hard, his voice trembling. I don't want to choose." The cage shuddered violently, blue sparks flying everywhere. The whispers hissed in anger. "Then you all will die." The floor split with a loud crack, and fire-like light erupted beneath them. The aliens tensed, ready to fight again, but this time not each other. This time against whatever horror was coming from below. Daniel's eyes widened as he realized one terrible truth. This was not a prison. It was a test, and he was at the center of it. The cage trembled like it was alive. Blue sparks ran across the glowing bars, humming louder and louder. Daniel stood frozen, his heart racing. The two alien warriors were no longer just enemies. They were fighting for something bigger. Him. The scaled warrior, his red eyes glowing like fire, stepped forward first. His claws tapped against the floor, each sound sharp and heavy. "The human must choose," he growled, voice deep and commanding. "Without a choice, we all burn." The silver-skinned alien tilted his head, his lips curling into a cold smile. "He doesn't need to choose you, beast. You are nothing but brute force. I offer him freedom. I offer him survival." Daniel's breath caught in his throat. He wanted to scream, wanted to run, but there was nowhere to go. The whispers from the walls had faded, but the tension was worse than ever. Both aliens were staring at him like predators circling prey. Suddenly, the scaled warrior roared and lunged. His claws slashed through the air, aimed at his rival's chest. The silver alien reacted just as fast, his body glowing with bright light as he raised an arm to block. The impact shook the cage, throwing Daniel to the ground. The fight had begun again. Daniel crawled to the corner, watching in terror as they clashed. Every strike was like thunder. Claws against metal fists, roars against sharp laughter. Sparks exploded each time their bodies hit the glowing bars. The cage pulsed brighter, reacting to their rage, almost like it was feeding on it. The scaled warrior grabbed his rival by the arm and slammed him into the wall. The silver alien gasped but twisted free, spinning with unnatural speed. His fist glowed with energy before smashing into the warrior's jaw, sending him staggering back. Daniel shielded his face from the blast of light. "Stop it!" he shouted, his voice breaking. "You'll kill us all!" But neither listened. The fight only grew worse. The floor rattled, cracks spreading across the metal beneath them. The cage's energy roared, brighter and brighter, as if it would explode. Daniel realized with horror that if they didn't stop, this prison would become their grave. The silver alien raised his hand again, summoning a glowing spear of light. "I will end this now," he hissed. The scaled warrior bared his fangs, crouching low like a predator ready to strike. "Try it, and watch yourself die instead." They charged. The two forces collided in the center of the cage, and for a moment, Daniel thought the entire world was breaking apart. A wave of energy burst outward, knocking him flat on the ground. His ears rang, his vision blurred. When his sight cleared, he saw the impossible. The bars of the cage were bending. The glowing energy wasn't just reacting, it was weakening. Cracks of white light spread across the prison walls, like glass about to shatter. The fight was tearing the cage apart. Daniel's heart pounded. This was his chance. He scrambled to his feet, ignoring the shaking floor, and pressed his hand against the glowing bars. The moment he touched them, the energy shifted. The cracks widened. Both aliens froze. Their battle stopped instantly as they saw what Daniel was doing. The silver one's voice was urgent. "Yes, human, keep going. Break it open. Free us before it collapses." The scaled warrior snarled but nodded reluctantly. "Do it, or we all die here." Daniel's mind spun. His entire body trembled, but he pressed harder. The bars pulsed with blue light, responding to his heartbeat. The crack in the wall widened, almost forming a doorway. He could see shadows beyond it, hallways, strange machines, and a light that looked like escape. But then the whispers returned, louder, angrier. "You dare break the rules? The human is not ready." Daniel staggered back, covering his ears. The voices felt like knives stabbing into his skull. The aliens growled, both looking around the cage in fury. "Show yourself, coward," the scaled warrior shouted. "Afraid of your own prisoners?" the silver one sneered. The whispers turned into a chilling laugh. The walls of the cage rippled, shifting like liquid. A dark face began to appear, made of smoke and light, watching them with glowing white eyes. Daniel's stomach dropped. This was the one who had trapped them, the Watcher. "You are here for a reason," the voice said. "A test. Only one may leave. The human must decide." The smoky face turned toward Daniel, its empty eyes staring into his soul. "Choose now, or die with them." Daniel's body froze. His mind screamed. How could he choose? Both. Aliens were killers. Both were dangerous. But the Watchers wouldn't let him escape unless he picked one. The silver alien stepped closer, his voice smooth and tempting. "I can protect you, human. Free me, and I will take you out of this nightmare." The scaled warrior growled, his tone fierce. "He lies. Free me, and I will kill anyone who dares harm you. Choose strength or choose weakness." Daniel's legs shook. His hands clenched. He didn't want this. He didn't want to choose, but the smoky face was watching, waiting. The cage groaned again, the cracks spreading wider. The floor shook as fire-like light blazed beneath them. If he didn't choose soon, the cage would collapse and burn them alive. His heart raced. His mind screamed. And yet, deep inside, a strange thought whispered to him. What if he chose no one? The idea filled him with fear, but also with something else. Defiance. Why should he play by their rules? Why should he let these watchers control him? The smoky face leaned closer, hissing, "Choose, choose, choose." Daniel took a shaky breath, raising his head. His voice was weak but steady. "No, I won't choose." The cage exploded with blinding light. The watchers screamed in fury. The aliens shielded their eyes. Daniel felt his body lifted into the air, burning energy surrounding him. And then, darkness. The cage was gone. But where he had landed was far worse. When Daniel opened his eyes, he was lying on cold steel once again. His chest rose and fell quickly, his heart racing as he tried to breathe. The memory of the cage exploding still burned in his mind. The flashes of blue light, the screaming whispers, the two alien warriors reaching for him as everything collapsed. But now the cage was gone. He sat up slowly. Around him stretched a long corridor, dark and metallic, lit only by strips of red light glowing on the ceiling. Strange pipes said with steam. The walls were covered in alien symbols that shifted and moved as if alive. This place felt more like a ship than a prison, but it was still no safer. A sound made him turn. The scaled warrior was there, kneeling on one knee, his red eyes glowing in the dim light. His scales were scratched and burned from the fight, but his powerful body was still strong. On the other side, the silver-skinned alien stood, his glowing hands dim but ready, his black hair floating gently as if touched by unseen wind. They were both alive. Daniel's stomach twisted. He had hoped, just for a second, that maybe one of them had been lost in the blast. But no, both had survived, and both were staring at him. The scaled warrior spoke first, his voice low but heavy with authority. "You broke their rules. You destroyed the cage. No human has ever done such a thing." The silver alien narrowed his eyes. "He is not ordinary. He is the key. The watchers will come again." Daniel held up his hands, his voice shaking. "I don't care about your watchers. I don't care about your fight. I just want to go home." The silver alien's lips curled into a cold smile. "Then free us. Together we can leave this place. I know the corridors. I know the path out." The scaled warrior growled, stepping closer. "Lies. His kind are tricksters. Freeing him will be your death. Choose me instead. I will fight for you, human." Daniel backed away until his shoulders hit the wall. His mind spun with fear and confusion. Again they wanted him to choose. Again they were treating him like the prize of some twisted game. But then he remembered something. In the cage, when he had touched the bars, they had responded to him. The energy had followed his heartbeat. The crack in the wall had opened because of him, not them. Maybe he wasn't just a pawn. Maybe he was the one with power. His voice was quiet but steady. "What if I don't choose either of you?" Both aliens froze, their eyes locked on him in shock. The silver one tilted his head, his silver skin shimmering faintly. "Without us, you will not survive. The watchers will destroy you." The scaled warrior bared his fangs. "This ship is filled with machines and hunters. You are weak, human. You cannot fight alone." Daniel clenched his fists. He wanted to argue, to shout that they were wrong, but deep inside he knew they were right. He was weak compared to them, but weakness didn't mean useless. Before he could answer, the corridor around them shook. A loud alarm echoed through the walls, followed by heavy metallic footsteps. The watchers had sent their guards. From the shadows ahead, tall machines appeared, walking on 6 legs like spiders. Their bodies were made of black steel, their eyes glowing red, and their sharp legs clicked against the floor. Each had long, blade-like arms that glistened with poison. Daniel's blood turned cold. There were at least 5 of them. The scaled warrior stepped forward, cracking his claws. "Stay behind me, human. I will kill them all." The silver alien raised his glowing hands. "No, let me lead. My energy can cut them apart." Again they were competing. Again they wanted him to choose who should lead the fight. Daniel's breathing quickened. If he chose one, the other would grow angry. If he chose neither, they might both turn against him. But if he froze and did nothing, the machines would slice him to pieces. His mind raced. He had to decide. The machines charged, their blades scraping the walls. Sparks flew. Daniel shouted without thinking, "Fight together!" The aliens turned sharply toward him, both surprised. For a moment it seemed they would ignore him, but then the machines leaped forward. The scaled warrior roared, slashing one of the spider-like guards in half. The silver alien raised his glowing spear of light, piercing through another's chest. Sparks and smoke filled the corridor as they fought side by side, their powers combining in a deadly stow. Daniel pressed himself against the wall, shielding his face as pieces of broken machines rained around him. For the first time, the two enemies were not trying to kill each other, they were protecting him. And yet Daniel could feel it in the way they moved, in the way they glanced at him between strikes. They weren't just fighting to survive, they were fighting to prove themselves to him. The last machine fell, its body sparking before collapsing in pieces. The corridor grew quiet again, filled only with the sound of heavy breathing. The scaled warrior wiped blood from his claws and turned toward Daniel. "You see? Without me, you would already be dead." The silver alien stepped forward, his silver skin glowing faintly in the dark. "Lies. It was my power that saved him. He knows it." Daniel's stomach twisted again. Their fight wasn't over. It had only just begun. He stared at them both, his voice trembling. "Why me? Why do you both care so much about me?" The silver alien's smile was sharp. "Because your kind is rare. Humans are more than they appear. With you, I can change the future of my people." The scaled warrior's growl rumbled in his chest. "With you, I can win the war against his kind. You are the prize we both need." Daniel felt the weight of their words pressing down on him. He wasn't just a prisoner. He wasn't just a test subject. He was something more, something dangerous. The alarms began to sound again, louder this time. More machines were coming. Daniel's heart raced. He had only seconds to decide. Should he trust one of them? Should he trust both? Or should he trust no one at all? The choice was his, and it could cost him everything. The corridor shook with the sound of approaching machines. Their metal legs scraped against the floor, echoing like an army of knives. Daniel's pulse quickened as the red lights overhead flickered. The two alien warriors stood on either side of him, tense, ready, but still glaring at each other like enemies. Daniel clenched his fists. He was trapped between them again. Both wanted his choice. Both wanted him as their prize. But more machines were coming, and he knew that if he stayed frozen, they would all be slaughtered. The scaled warrior growled first, baring his fangs. "Choose me, human. Stand behind me, and you will live." The silver-skinned alien smirked, lifting his glowing hands. "Or choose me, and I will take you far from here. Do not waste time on his brute strength." Daniel's breath came fast. The walls shook harder. A sharp, cold voice whispered in his mind. The watchers were listening again. "Choose," the voice said. "Only one." But Daniel's fear shifted into something else. Anger. He had been dragged into this nightmare, treated like prey, forced to play by their rules. And yet, he remembered the cage. He remembered how the bars had bent when he touched them. He remembered the light that answered only to him. What if he didn't follow the rules at all? The machines appeared at the far end of the corridor. 10 this time, their spider-like legs slicing the air, their glowing red eyes fixed on the three figures. They hissed and screeched, blades raised to strike. The aliens readied themselves to fight again, but Daniel stepped forward. His voice was shaky but loud. "No, I won't choose." Both aliens turned sharply toward him. The scaled warrior snarled, "Then you are a fool." The silver alien hissed, his silver skin flashing brighter. "You doom us all." But Daniel ignored them. He raised his hand toward the swarm of machines. His chest burned with fear, but also with something stronger, defiance. And the corridor reacted. The red lights flickered, then shifted to blue. The walls vibrated, glowing faintly like the cage had before. The machines froze mid-step, their glowing eyes flickering. The aliens gasped, their jaws tightening in shock. "The human controls the ship," the silver one whispered. "No, impossible," the scaled warrior growled, but his voice shook. Daniel didn't understand it himself, but he didn't stop. He focused, his heartbeat loud in his ears. The machines trembled, their legs twitching violently. Then, with a sudden burst of energy, they collapsed to the ground, motionless. Silence. The corridor was filled with the smell of smoke and the faint hum of power. Daniel's hand shook as he lowered it. His chest ached and sweat dripped down his forehead. He felt weak, dizzy, but he had done it. He had stopped them. Both aliens stared at him now, not as prey, not as a prize, but as something else entirely. The scaled warrior stepped forward slowly, his red eyes glowing softer. "You are no ordinary human." The silver alien's smile was thin and sharp. "No, he is more. He is the key we were told of. The Watchers were right." Daniel backed away, his voice trembling. "I don't care about being a key, I just want to go home." The scaled warrior shook his head. "You cannot go back, not yet. This ship is far beyond your world, but with your power, we can break free." The silver alien's voice was like silk, calm but dangerous. "Yes, free us, and we will lead you to safety. Without us, you will not survive the Watchers." Daniel's stomach twisted again. They were both trying to pull him to their side, both desperate for his trust, but he had already made a small decision. He would not let them control him, not anymore. He turned and ran. The aliens shouted behind him, their footsteps thundering down the corridor as they gave chase. Daniel sprinted through the winding halls, past walls that glowed faintly as if alive, past doors covered in alien runes. His breath burned in his chest, his legs aching, but he refused to stop. Finally, he stumbled into a large chamber. It was round, with a massive dome ceiling glowing with shifting stars. In the center stood a tall black structure like a crystal tower, humming with power. Strange blue streams of energy flowed from it into the walls. Daniel froze. He didn't know why, but he felt drawn to it. The aliens entered a moment later, both halting as they saw the tower. Their eyes widened. "The core," the silver one whispered. The scaled warrior growled, his claws twitching. "The heart of the ship." Daniel stepped closer. The humming grew louder, syncing with his heartbeat. He could feel it. This was the same energy as the cage, the same power that had responded to him. Maybe this was his way out. The silver alien stepped forward, his voice sharp. "Human, listen to me. If you touch that core, the Watchers will come. They will destroy us before we escape. You must free me first." The scaled warrior snarled. "No, destroy the core. Break the ship apart and we can fight our way free. Trust me, human." Daniel's mind spun. Two choices again, both dangerous. Free one, destroy all. But then a third thought crept in. What if the core didn't have to be destroyed or given away? What if it could be controlled by him? His hand shook as he reached toward the black crystal. The aliens shouted, one in anger, one in fear. The moment his fingers touched the surface, blue light erupted through the chamber, swirling around him like a storm. The floor shook violently. The walls screamed with metallic echoes. The whispers returned, furious and loud. "You break the rules again, human. You cannot control what is not yours." Daniel's voice broke, but he shouted anyway. "I won't play by your rules." The crystal core pulsed, brighter and brighter. The energy wrapped around him like fire, lifting him into the air. The aliens shielded their faces from the blinding glow, and then with a deafening crack, the entire chamber exploded with light. When the brightness faded, Daniel was gone. The silver alien lowered his arms slowly, his silver eyes narrowing. "He is not prey. He is the beginning." The scaled W's. Arrier's claws curled into fists. "And he is mine to claim." Daniel woke with a sharp gasp. His chest rose and fell quickly as he lay on cold ground again. For a moment he thought he was back in the cage, but when he opened his eyes, he saw something different. Above him stretched a wide dome of glass, showing a sky filled with stars. Strange planets glowed in the distance, their colors swirling in purple and green. Around him were ruins, broken walls of alien stone, half covered in dust and glowing moss. He sat up slowly, his head pounding. How had he gotten here? The last thing he remembered was touching the black crystal, the explosion of light, the furious whispers, and then nothing, but he was not alone. The scaled warrior stood only a few steps away, his red eyes scanning the shadows, claws flexed, ready to strike. The silver-skinned alien was nearby as well, his glowing hands dim but steady, his gaze sharp as ever. They had survived too. Daniel pushed himself up, his voice shaky. "Where are we?" The silver alien answered first, his tone calm but cold. "Outside the ship, the core sent us here, a testing ground, or a prison." The scaled warrior growled, his claws dragging against the stone. "It matters little. The Watchers still hunt us. Their machines will come soon." Daniel rubbed his face, trying to steady his thoughts. He wanted to scream at them, demand answers, but the truth was simple. He needed them. He didn't know this place, didn't know how to survive. For now, they were his only protection. But he also remembered their words. He was the key. He was something they both wanted. and that made him more prisoner than ally. The silence broke with a screech. From the shadows, metallic shapes emerged. 3 spider-like machines, smaller than the ones before but faster, their red eyes glowing like fire. Their blades clicked as they crawled across the ruins. Daniel's breath caught. He stepped back, but both aliens moved forward at once. The scaled warrior roared, leaping at one machine, his claws slide. Sing through its body. Sparks flew as it collapsed. The silver alien spun gracefully, his spear of light stabbing through another's core, shattering it into pieces. The third rushed Daniel, its blade raised to strike. Daniel froze, but before the machine reached him, both aliens struck at the same time. The scaled warrior's claws ripped its legs apart while the silver alien's blast of energy burned through its chest. The machine crumbled into smoke and broken metal. Daniel stood trembling, his ears ringing. They had saved him again, but he noticed something strange. They weren't just fighting the machines, they were fighting to show him who was stronger. The silver alien straightened, his silver skin glowing faintly. You see, human? My light cuts faster than his claws. You are alive because of me. The scaled warrior snarled, stepping closer. Lies! It was my strike that saved him. He needs strength, not tricks. Daniel's stomach twisted. Even when they fought together, it was still about him. More machines screeched in the distance. The aliens tensed, their eyes scanning the shadows. The silver one turned to Daniel, his voice soft but urgent. Stay with me. I know the path through these ruins. I can lead you out. The scaled warrior growled, his voice fierce. No, stay at my side. I will crush anything that comes. His kind cannot be trusted. Daniel's breath came fast. Again, they wanted him to choose. Again, he felt trapped between them. But something inside him had changed. In the cage, he had been afraid. In the corridor, he had been angry. Now, in the ruins, he felt something new. Control. He raised his hand, pointing toward the glowing moss that covered the walls. It pulsed faintly with blue light, the same energy as the cage, the same power as the core. Follow me, Daniel said, his voice steady. Both aliens turned, their jaws tightening. They did, and like taking orders. But the moss was glowing brighter with every step Daniel took, almost like it was guiding him. Reluctantly, they followed. The ruins stretched deeper, with broken statues and collapsed towers. The moss lit their path, pulsing like a heartbeat. Daniel's chest ached with every step, but he refused to stop. He felt that if he followed this light, he would find something important. Behind him, the aliens whispered threats at each other. He is mine, the scaled warrior muttered. The silver alien's voice was sharp. We will see. Daniel pretended not to hear, but their words cut deep. He was not a person to them. He was a prize. At last, they reached a massive stone gate carved with alien symbols. The moss glowed brightest here, covering the door in a soft blue light. Daniel touched it, and the stone rumbled. Slowly, the gate opened. Inside was a chamber filled with broken cages. Some held skeletons of creatures Daniel didn't recognize. Alien bones, massive and twisted. Others were empty, their bars bent open. Daniel's breath caught. This place wasn't just ruins. It was another testing ground, a place where others had been trapped before him. The silver alien stepped inside, his eyes narrowing. This is where the Watchers keep their experiments. The scaled warrior growled. Then this is where we end them. Before Daniel could speak, the sound of heavy footsteps filled the chamber. The air grew colder, the shadows twisted, and then from the darkness, a massive figure emerged. It was not a machine, not a Watcher's whisper. It was a beast, half metal, half flesh, towering twice the size of the aliens, its eyes glowing red, its mouth filled with jagged teeth. Chains dangled from its body, broken and rusted, as if it had once been caged here too. Daniel's blood turned to ice. The beast roared, shaking the entire chamber. The aliens tensed, their eyes narrowing. For the first time, Daniel saw something different in them. Not just rivalry, not just hunger for him. For the first time, he saw fear. The chamber shook with the roar of the beast. Dust fell from the cracked ceiling and broken cages rattled as if the ruins themselves were afraid. Daniel's breath caught in his throat as the monster stepped fully into the dim blue glow. Its body was massive, part flesh, part machine. Metal plates jutted out of its shoulders, glowing red wires pulsed through its veins, and its claws were long enough to slice through stone. Its eyes locked onto Daniel instantly, glowing like burning coals. The scaled warrior stepped in front of him, his own claws unsheathing. Stay behind me, human. This one is mine. The silver alien moved closer on the other side, his hands glowing bright with energy. No, this is not a fight for your brute strength. My light will end it faster. Daniel's heart pounded. Even now, when a monster 3 times their size stood ready to kill them, they were still competing for him. He wanted to shout at them to stop, but the beast gave no time. It charged. The ground shook as its claws slashed through the floor, sparks flying. The scaled warrior roared, leaping forward to meet it head-on. His claws clashed with the beast's metallic arm, the sound like steel grinding against steel. The silver alien spun, sending a spear of light that cut across the beast's chest. It screamed, staggering but not falling. Daniel stumbled back, pressing against the cold stone wall. The fight was terrifying and beautiful at the same time. Every strike sent shockwaves through the chamber. Every roar echoed like thunder. The aliens were fighting the beast, but also fighting each other through it. The scaled warrior slashed again, his claws ripping metal from the beast's side. He turned sharply toward Daniel, shouting, "You see, human, it is my strength that saves you." The silver alien snarled, blasting the beast's legs with glowing energy until it fell to one knee. He looked back at Daniel, his silver eyes sharp. "Do not believe him. Without me, you would already be dead." Daniel shook his head, panic rising. "Stop arguing. Just kill it." But they didn't stop. The beast swung its tail, smashing the scaled warrior into the wall. He coughed, blood dripping from his jaw, but he pushed himself back up, rage burning in his eyes. The silver alien darted forward, stabbing his spear of light into the beast's chest, but the creature grabbed him with its massive claw, slamming him into the ground. Daniel's stomach twisted. Both of them were strong, but the beast was stronger. And then the whispers returned, cold, cruel, echoing from the walls. "Do you see, human? They are not fighting for you. They are fighting for themselves. You are only the prize." Daniel's chest tightened. Deep inside, he had known it. The way they stared at him, the way they fought each other. It wasn't just survival. It was desire. The beast lifted the silver alien high, ready to crush him. The scaled warrior staggered forward, his claws trembling, still trying to fight. Daniel felt his own legs moving before he even thought. He picked up a broken metal bar from the ground and ran forward. "Hey!" he shouted, swinging the bar at the beast's leg. The bar snapped in two, useless, but the beast turned its burning eyes toward him. For a moment, Daniel thought he was dead, but then the moss on the walls pulsed, glowing brighter. Blue energy flowed into his hands, crackling like lightning. His body shook, his heart racing, but he thrust his hands forward. The beast screamed as blue fire erupted across its body. It dropped the silver alien, staggering back in fury. The chamber shook with the blast, the cages rattling until some collapsed completely. Daniel stumbled, falling to his knees, his vision blurred. He had used too much, too fast. The scaled warrior rushed to his side, his claws dripping blood. "Human, you are the weapon they fear." The silver alien rose, his silver skin flickering with light, his voice sharp. "Yes, and that is why he must choose me." Daniel looked up, trembling. "Choose you? For what?" The silver alien's eyes glowed. "To be mine. To bond with me. With his power and my light, I can create a future where my people rule." The scaled warrior growled, stepping closer, his red eyes blazing. "Lies. He belongs with me. With his bond, I will crush your kind and bring victory to mine. Together, we will be unstoppable." Daniel's heart pounded. His throat felt dry. For the first time, the truth was spoken clearly. They didn't just want to protect him. They didn't just see him as a key. They wanted him as their mate. His mind spun, his body trembling. He wanted to scream at them both, to deny them, but the whispers came again, cold and cruel. "Yes, they fight to claim you. That is the purpose of the test. That is why you are here." The beast roared again, slamming its claws against the ground, shaking the chamber. But Daniel barely noticed. His world was spinning too fast. The scaled warrior knelt in front of him, claws lowering, his voice deep and fierce. "Choose me, human. I will fight for you, kill for you, protect you until the stars burn out. You are mine." The silver alien knelt on the other side, his silver eyes sharp and hungry. "No, choose me. I will give you power, freedom, and a place beyond this prison. Together we will break the Watchers." Daniel shook his head, his voice breaking. I don't want to be anyone's prize." But they didn't move. Both waited. Both desperate. Both fighting not just the beast, but each other, for him. The chamber cracked. The beast roared, the whispers laughed, and Daniel realized with horror his next choice would change everything. The chamber shook like it was alive. Dust rained from the ceiling as the massive beast roared again, its red eyes burning brighter. The broken cages rattled, and the whispers of the watchers filled the air, cold and cruel. Choose, choose, choose! Daniel stood frozen between the two aliens. The scaled warrior knelt on his left, claws dripping with blood, eyes burning with fierce devotion. The silver alien knelt on his right, silver skin glowing faintly, his voice soft but dangerous. Both were waiting. Both wanted the same thing. Him. Daniel's chest ached. His mind spun. He had been trapped, hunted, forced to watch monsters fight, forced to play a game he never agreed to. And now the final rule was clear. He had to choose one alien to be his mate. But deep inside, something burned. He didn't want to choose. He didn't want to belong to anyone. He wanted freedom. The beast roared again, charging across the chamber. Its claws smashed into the floor, sending cracks racing through the stone. Both aliens jumped to their feet, moving in front of Daniel. The scaled warrior slashed at the monster's leg, his claws tearing metal and flesh. The silver alien spun, blasting it with a spear of light. The beast stumbled, but it didn't fall. It swung its massive tail, sending both warriors crashing into the walls. Daniel was left alone in the center of the chamber. The whispers grew louder. Choose now, or you will die with them. Daniel's hands shook. His heart raced, but then he looked around. The glowing moss, the cracked cages, the broken skeletons of past prisoners. This had all happened before. Others had been forced to play the same game. Others had been told to choose, and none had survived. Unless he did something different. His eyes went to the beast. Its chains rattled as it roared, metal grinding against flesh. It wasn't just a monster. It was like him, once trapped, once tested, now twisted into something else. Daniel's fear shifted into anger. His voice shook, but he shouted anyway. No, I won't choose your way. The watchers hissed in fury, their whispers echoing through the chamber. Then you will break. You will die. Blue light surged through the moss, through the wall, else through Daniel's hands. His whole body shook as energy wrapped around him like fire. His vision blurred, his heartbeat thundered, but he stood tall. The beast charged at him, claws raised. Daniel didn't move. He raised both hands and the blue energy exploded outward. The blast hit the beast full force, wrapping its body in burning light. It screamed, shaking the ruins, but the chains on its body snapped one by one. The silver alien gasped. He's freeing it. The scaled warrior snarled, his red eyes wide. No, he's siding with the beast. Daniel gritted his teeth, pushing harder. The last chain snapped, and the beast collapsed, panting. Its red eyes flickered, no longer filled with rage, but something almost like relief. Slowly it lowered its head to Daniel, not as an enemy, but as if bowing. The whispers screamed in fury. You break the rules again. You cannot defy us. Daniel's chest ached. His body trembled, but he stood tall, his voice steady. I don't care about your rules. I'm not your prisoner. I'm not your prize. I am human, and I choose myself. The chamber erupted with blue light. The walls cracked, the cages shattered, and the voices of the watchers turned into screams of rage. The ruins shook violently, as if the world itself was tearing apart. The silver alien stumbled to his feet, his silver eyes locked on Daniel. You don't understand. Without us, you'll never survive what comes next. The scaled warrior growled, rising as well. No, he doesn't need you. He needs me. He is mine. But Daniel shook his head, his body glowing with the same energy as the moss. For the first time, he wasn't afraid. For the first time, he wasn't weak. I don't belong to either of you, he said. The beast roared, not in rage, but in agreement. Blue fire burst from its body, filling the chamber with light. The watchers' screams grew louder, then began to fade. Lofty. Ike's shadows burned away by the sun. The ruins collapsed piece by piece, falling into the void. Daniel felt himself lifted again. Weightless in the storm of light, the two aliens reached for him, their voices desperate. Choose me, the silver one shouted. You are mine, the scaled one roared. But Daniel didn't take either hand. He reached upward toward the light itself. The chamber shattered. When the brightness faded, the ruins were gone. The beast was gone. The whispers were silent. Daniel stood alone on solid ground, under a black sky filled with strange stars. He was free, but not safe. In the distance, more lights glowed. Ships, hundreds of them, moving through the sky like predators searching for prey. The watchers weren't finished. And somewhere nearby, hidden in the shadows, the two alien warriors watched him still. They weren't giving up. They would keep fighting. Not just for survival, not just for freedom, but for him. Daniel clenched his fists, his voice quiet but steady. Then let them come. I'll write my own rules.